All right, so you're excited, you want to get into the real estate profession, you know there's money to be made, you've seen other people succeed in real estate, you go and take your exam prep, you get licensed, and you're faced with this incredible, for many, an insurmountable statistic. And that is, as a new agent, a licensed real estate professional, your failure rate in your first 1 to 5 years is anywhere from 80 to 95%. That means it is likely that you will fail in your first year, and even more likely that you will fail within your first 5 years. Why is that? I think I have the answer for you. Hey, this is your real estate ninja, Suman Kim, and if you're returning to my channel, welcome back. If you're brand new to my channel, I'm a real estate professional. I'm a real estate agent, and in my first 3 years of being a brand new agent, I have been able to close over 170 million in closed transactions completely as an individual agent without any experience, a sphere of influence, a network in a brand new city that I relocated my family into in a brand new state. And so I definitely have a lot of passion that I want to be able to share with you, because I know for many of you, if you're on this video, that you desire to break through, you desire to succeed. Perhaps you're new and you don't want to fall to be speaking another statistic. So with that said, I think the best way that I'm going to be able to explain what I want to do is really share my story and give you some insight on there. But before I do that, before you do anything else, make sure you subscribe to my channel. When you subscribe to my channel, I'm going to put out content, and ultimately I want my content to help you to break through in the real estate profession. So like many of you, I went to exam prep courses. I was excited to become a real estate agent. Besides being able to serve a community, serve a client base, just the idea of selling real estate was really exciting to me. And like many of you, I knew that if you could be productive and you can succeed, that there's obviously financial gain and money to be made. And so I did, like many of you, went to exam prep courses. I actually had kind of a hybrid of online courses and in classroom courses as well. And ultimately, one thing that I would say was a little bit of a deviant mindset was the fact that, like, I wanted to see why the failure rate was so high. So even when I was preparing for my exam, I knew in my heart, I knew in my mind, I knew what I read, that 80 to 95% are going to fail at this. So I was looking around the classroom, even considering, like, okay, of the, let's say 50 people in this classroom, like that means like 40 plus of them are going to fail, in this profession and just quit eventually because they're not making progress, And so ultimately I wanted to go into this profession and this endeavor with my eyes wide open. And it wasn't until after I finally passed my exam and started interviewing brokerages that the light started to go off, and I saw the discrepancy of why this was the case. And I want to share that with you, but I'm going to do it through my story. So ultimately, when I finally got my license and I passed my exam, I now needed to hang my license at a brokerage. And so I said, you know what? I want to make sure I know everything that's out there. I'm going to interview all the brokerages, going to interview as many as I possibly can. And I just want to see all the pros and cons and opportunities that are there, whether it's a team or not a team or all of that stuff, right? So I remember I ended up interviewing like anywhere from 12 to 15 brokerages. And ultimately, there was consistency in all of them, because I would actually share my story with them. I'd say, look, I just relocated my entire family to a brand new state. I don't have a sphere of influence. I don't have a network. I don't have anyone in my family that is a practicing realtor. And I'm looking and I'm willing to learn, And I remember that did draw a little bit of like a sigh and some connotation from these brokerages. And they said, you know what, it's okay. We're going to give you mentorship. We're going to give you a program. Here's the cool CRM that we have. We're going to teach you how to door knock. We're going to teach you how to cold call. We're going to teach you how to call FSBOs and expired listings. We're going to even allow you to maybe answer the hot leads that come into our office. We have agents that will give you open houses. And so I started hearing this. And then by my like fifth or sixth brokerage that I was interviewing, they started saying that I realized they're all saying the same thing. They're teaching me these techniques. So if it's consistent across all these brokerages that they're teaching you the same things and they want to teach you and the response is similar to each other, then I started to think to myself, is that a part of that high failure rate? I mean, if 90+% of people are failing and they're hearing this from every brokerage, is that the case? And I started to say to myself, wow, I don't want to be a statistic. If 90+% are failing and this is what they're hearing from all the brokerages and the team leaders and those that are in a position to be the trainers of these offices, Like, I don't want to be a part of that, because that is going to be the fastest, quickest highway to mediocrity or failure, And so it wasn't until I actually came across the individual that I chose to partner with that taught me something different. This individual, Mike Sherrard, some of you know who he is, but he said, look, Suman, if we do what everyone else is doing, you're probably going to get what everyone else is getting. And what everyone is getting is a very high failure rate. So he's all, look, if you can utilize modern marketing strategies, if you can utilize untraditional methods, if you can get in front of all of that and get in front of the people that are actual clientele, then you have a chance to succeed widely. And you're going to have to leverage modern things like social content, video content, YouTube, and those things. And if you're willing to do that, you have a chance to succeed. But if you do what everyone else is doing, you're probably going to be another statistic. And the truth is, he wasn't telling me anything that I didn't already think about for myself, right? And so ultimately, this is what I found out. And this is what my perspective on what I see, and not just local real estate here in Austin, Texas, but really everywhere in the entire US, Canada, what have you, is the fact that most people that are accountable to training, so in other words, whether it's a broker, a team leader, the head recruiter of a brokerage, ultimately these individuals found their success and found their breakthrough in a different era, right? So late 80s, 90s, early 2000s, when communication was completely different, right? So the way we communicated, the way we advertised, the way we sought business was different back then, right? So there's nothing wrong with these methods, and there's nothing wrong with these individuals. These individuals are very authentically trying to teach you what helped them to succeed. See, the discrepancy comes in this. When you succeed in a different era, you are then able to begin to fulfill referrals, right? So you begin to expand your network, start to get referrals. You sell to the uncle that you eventually sell to the nephew, that's extended family. And so you find yourself in a position of success from being a veteran real estate agent, 10, 15, 20 years in the game, right? But what you don't realize is the way you broke through in the era that you did is no longer relevant or prevalent or efficient in today's market or the way we communicate. For instance, let's talk about some of these methods, right? Cold calling, door knocking, flyers, billboards, calling expired listings, calling for sale by owners, knocking on doors. Now, this was a reactionary way that worked back in the time when internet and types of social content that we have was not as prevalent. So when people would have a knock on the door, they would learn something new. Or when they saw a billboard, they would maybe reach out to that person because they wanted to learn more about that. Or if they got a cold call about maybe the value of their home or property, they listened to that because they wanted to know, because all this information wasn't necessarily readily prevalent for everyone. But we don't live in that world anymore. Think about if something happens, let's say something as simple as like your sink is clogged or your dishwasher doesn't work, or something's wrong with your car, or there's something wrong with a program that's not working on your computer. No one's waiting for someone to cold call you about, hey, can I ask you if you ever have any issues with your dishwasher? You're not waiting to drive by a billboard that says, hey, problem with dishwasher, call here. You're not. You're reacting and proactively seeking answers right away. And ultimately, you're probably on YouTube and doing search engines on YouTube to figure out how to fix this garbage disposal, how to reset this program, how to fix this issue. We're proactively seeking those things, but yet the entire almost majority of the real estate game today for new agents and their training is based upon reactionary methods that help people succeed in a different era. So now you can see where the issue is, right? You're seeing that the most influence of all these brokerages, offices, team leaders that teach new agents, that put them through a training system, are teaching ways that are no longer efficient. I'm not saying that they don't work, but they're not efficient, right? And so that's what I learned pretty quickly. And I believe that is the issue of such a high failure rate today. So you might ask yourself, well, what's the answer, Suman? Well, I believe this to be the answer. I believe that you need a fresh perspective, and you need to understand that it's nothing against the people that are influential or training or recruiting people to brokerages today, but to understand that what they're teaching is authentic to them because it might have worked, but it's no longer efficient in the world today. So you ask yourself, what is efficient? Well, we have to look at video content, social media, YouTube, Instagram, alignment of branding, alignment of marketing, and understanding how that all flows together when the continuity of a thread is placed in all of those. So with that said, I would implore you as a new agent to make sure as you're interviewing brokerages that you have this in the back of your mind to understand that maybe what they're teaching you might have worked for them, but due to what I see from the statistics to the failure rate of agents today, I'm telling you right now, I do not believe it is any longer efficient. There's no way I would be able to do what I've done in my first 3 years of being a brand new agent without any experience if I went the way that they were asking me to go. It wasn't until I countered someone with a very oppositional approach, untraditional approach, that has allowed me to break through. And today I carry that flag very proudly to say, new agents, there's hope for you, but not if you're going to go the traditional means that you are being fed right now through the ecosystem of the industry that we have. You're going to have to look for more modern marketing strategies. And if that is you, I am unashamed to say, reach out to me. Perhaps you're an agent that has not broken through yet and you're looking to break through. And as you're sitting there hearing trainings about door knocking, cold calling, these things, you ask yourself, maybe there's a better way. How do I go and start a YouTube channel? How do I go out there and brand myself and market myself in such a way where I can take advantage of the social media and social content out there? And the truth is, the reason no one could truly teach you that is because those in influential positions of trainers did not utilize that or do that to succeed themselves. They once again broke through in a different era when communication was different. Today, we live in a new world, in a new era, in a new form of communication, and it is wildly opportunistic for realtors that have an oppositional mindset to traditional things that are willing to learn new things. And that is my story. I was open to that. I found someone that taught me that, and today him and I partnered together to help other agents and really break them out of this matrix of traditional and inefficient marketing and training. So with that said, I believe that's the problem, and I believe we are looking to start the ripple effect of helping more agents to succeed, but we can no longer do it from the means that are being taught today by most people, okay? So if that's you, perhaps you're brand new, perhaps you haven't found a brokerage yet, maybe you are an agent and you just haven't broken to that next level and you realize everyone's kind of trying to do the same thing. I got to do something different. Please do not hesitate to reach out. As always, I will put my contact information right up there, and I am unashamed to tell you I would be happy to lead you to the information, to the proprietary training that Mike Sherrard and I can offer you to be able to break through in a market that is current, that is modern, that is efficient in today's communicative world. I will see all of you on the next video. Let's go.